Welcome to today's video. This is an upper body workout. So we are going to be working our shoulders, back, biceps, and triceps. So pretty much the whole of our body except for not too much chest. You're going to need a variety of weights. I'm going to be doing some 5 pounds, some 8 pounds, and some 15 pounds. So I would recommend having weights around those ranges. As always, if you don't have kind of like the intermediate weights, you can add on some wrist weights or, do some extra reps or anything like that. So we're going to get started, just no weight, just for our warm up. Just work on some mobility work. We're going to start to just roll our shoulders. Start releasing the tension of the day from your body. Oh, and like always, turn on your music in the background. Get yourself pumped up. And just start inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Just 2 more in this direction. And then reversing. And you can start to make it maybe a little bit bigger, get a little bit of your arms involved. Just for 2 and 1. And we'll do some hugs. So opening nice and wide, opening your chest, bringing your shoulder blades together, and then hugging in, widening those shoulder blades, opening up and hugging. As always, if you want to kind of get your back involved a little bit, you can open your heart towards the ceiling and you can kind of hug in, curling the back. But take your options. If you want to keep your spine kind of relatively neutral, you can do that. Just a few more here. Remember your breathing. And the last one. We're going to come onto our hands and knees for some chest openers. So knees a little bit wider than hip distance apart, hands a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Transfer the weight to your right hand, and we're going to open up through our left, and you can open up your chest, and then you can thread the needle through. You can get as low as you want or stay up. And you can look at your hand the whole time with your gaze, getting your neck involved. If you want a little bit more twist, you can extend out your left leg and really open up here. Just for 3, 2. Last one on this side, and then we'll switch over. So get back into your position here, knees hip distance apart. Transfer the weight to your left hand. And just opening on the other side. Mindful not to lock your elbow. And again, you can extend your leg out and really open up, twisting through the spine if you so choose. Just for 3, 2, and last one here. And then we're just going to do a little flow to warm up our upper body, just get some blood flowing. So you're going to come onto your high plank, hands a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, feet about hip distance apart, and we're just going to press back into our downward dog. So sit bones reaching up towards the ceiling, heels can be lifted, and you can pedal it out if you want. Again, we're not going to stay here for long because this is an upper body day. So we'll just pedal out our legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we're going to do a little flow. So you're going to flow into your high plank and then back to your downward dog. Pressing into your hands, fingers nice and wide. So we're warming up our back muscles here, shoulders. Our chest is getting a little bit of work. And our core is nice and tight. For 3, 2, and last 1. Come to your high plank, drop your knees. You can sit back or sit up and just give your wrists a little roll. Okay, so our last, it's kind of a warm up, but also a back exercise, is I'm going to move actually these weights a little bit out of the way so you can see a little bit better. We're going to come onto our stomachs for our cobra, just a little baby cobra. So fingers about nose level. Your head is going to be down. I'm just, talking at the camera and don't want to be too muffled, so my head's lifted to the side. And then legs can be just out straight, or you can have a slight external rotation with your toes pointed outwards, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to keep our feet on the mat the whole time here. Let's prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, hover your head from the mat and begin to peel your chest off the mat slightly. And then inhale to lower down. Exhaling, peeling your chest off just slightly, and then lowering down. This is working your low back, but if it's not super comfortable for you, you can squeeze your glutes to assist a bit. And our core is engaged. So thinking that pubic bone and rib cage kind of coming together. Belly button towards spine. And just one more like this with our hands down. Now we're going to lift our arms. If you want to stay what we were just doing, you can stay there, that's cool. But if you do want to add on, now your arms are going to hover at the same time. So again, prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, hovering head, peeling chest away from the mat, arms lift up, and then inhale to lower everything down. Exhaling, coming up, pause for a second, inhaling to lower. If you prefer to inhale as you come up, you can do that as well. I know some people like to inhale on the way up. Pressing hips and pubic bone into the mat for 3, 2, and last 1. And then just relax. Bring yourself up. So we're going to use our heaviest weights now of the day for our back exercise, our rows. I'm going to give you a couple options here. If your wrists aren't so great, mine have been really hurting. I think lifting my baby too much and my wrists or hands are just sore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of set my weights up in like an upside down V towards me, or more like an A kind of. We're just going to be working one arm at a time. So I'll show you the high kickstand move. So you're going to keep, I'm going to be working my left arm, I'm going to say. My right arm is just going to hold my weight, and kind of pressing down. I'm going to kick out the side that's working, so my left leg, into this it's called a kickstand row. And my chest is slightly open. I'm not totally turned towards the mat, but I'm also not to the side. And what I'm going to do is with my left arm, my working arm, is I'm going to bring my shoulder blades kind of together. So my left shoulder blade is going to come towards the center line, and I'm pulling up and rowing. So I'm thinking of my back muscles doing the pulling, kind of that shoulder blade area. So you can do this and continue on like that. If you don't like holding on to the other weight, you can have your hand just flat on the mat, just a little bit more on the wrist. And if you don't like this kickstand move, some people like to have their foot out and do the pulling. I think actually I'm going to do this today with my leg out. So we're thinking, like I said, my left shoulder blade, I'm drawing it towards my center, like towards my spine. Breathing. We've just got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to switch sides. So get set up again in kind of this like A position if you're using another weight to hold down. And then either kick out your leg or bring it up. And we have that kind of quarter turn with our torso. So again, not facing the mat, but not totally out to the side. And then pulling in. You can actually maybe see a little bit better on this side that now my right shoulder blade is drawing towards my spine. And I'm thinking of like leading with that shoulder blade. So it's not just like my elbow pulling up. It's really those upper back muscles and kind of under armpit area. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully lower down. And then when you're moving your heavy weights around, take your time, be careful. I'm just going to set them off to the side. Because we're going to use them for biceps, but that's just in a little bit. So now I'm going to have my 8 pounds and 5 pounds nearby. Actually, I guess I could have just left them on the other side. So our first move for our shoulders is we're going to be lying on our side. Again, I'm going to give you a couple options. To work a little bit more, you're up on your forearm here. So your elbow is beneath your shoulder. Hand is either in front or it can be kind of to the side. Some people like to make a fist. I personally don't like to make a fist because then you're just using extra energy and you're like holding tension here. So I kind of like to be kind of pressing down or relaxed. Don't need to waste extra energy. And what we're going to be doing is a side lying shoulder press. So I'm kind of starting in line here with my body. My hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, and I'm facing you guys at the camera. So I'm side lying here. And my forearm is actually slightly forward. So my forearm's not perpendicular to the mat, it's a little bit forward. And we're going to be doing a raise up and then coming back down. So lifting and lowering. If you don't like being up on your forearm here, or if it's hard on your neck or anything, you can come down, support your head in your hand, and do this as well. I'm going to be up though today. Breathing each time. And careful you're not sinking down that bottom waist. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Carefully bring it down. And then you can just roll over to the other side, but I'm going to keep facing the camera, so I'm going to switch over to this side. So getting set up again, hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked, elbow is beneath my shoulder. My forearms angled a little bit forward here, my right forearm, the working forearm, and I'm lifting and lowering. So now your supporting arm, like your left arm, if you're like me and you started on your left, it's probably a little tired for holding you up. So if you do want to drop down and support your head in your hand, take a little bit of the weight out of your shoulder, you can do that. And as I said, just be aware of the hand that's on the mat. If you're like making a fist and really white knuckling it, just release that tension. For 5, 4, 3, use your breath, 2, and 1. Carefully bring that down. So you can just keep lying on that same side. I'm gonna grab my lighter weight now, my 5 pounds. I'm actually just gonna come down, I think now, because my arm is getting tired. For our tricep extension, our sideline tricep extension. So same idea, hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Now what we're gonna do is, it's like our skull crusher when we lie on our backs, but we're on our side. So my fist or my palm is facing forwards, and I'm really just bending and straightening at the elbow. My wrist is strong, and think of the back of your arm back here doing the work. If you need to think about it and you want to put a hand here, you can kind of lie down and hold your arm as well. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to switch arms. Whew. Switching around the other side. Kind of a nice break for your arms as you switch over. And then again, you can be up on your forearm. I'm just going to be down today for right now. Maybe the next round I'll be up. And then same idea on this side. So palm facing forwards, and I'm just bending and straightening at the elbow. Using your breath. We have more tricep exercises after this. So if your triceps feel like they could do more, that's good, because we're going to do some more. We've just got 2 more here. 2 and 1. So we're going to come onto our backs. This is where I'm grabbing my 8-pound weights. So just a little bit heavier than what I was just doing, but not my heavy, heavy weight. And we're going to do narrow tricep presses. So this is, just since we just worked our triceps, I'm doing less than I would for my tricep skull crushers. So we're starting with our arms down on the ground. Our palms are facing each other. I need to think about this for a second. Oh yeah. And then you're lifting up and bending at the elbows, but you're also like straightening your arms. So as we're doing this, you can think too, it's kind of like my thumbs are kind of coming down and my pinkies are kind of almost up towards the ceiling. I heard one tip for this move. You can think as if you're like holding trays and kind of like pressing up towards the ceiling, but obviously you have weights in your hand, so your palms aren't flat like that. But we're kind of, yeah, like we're keeping our, you can see my dumbbells are kind of angled. So my pinkies are kind of up more towards the ceiling. So that's how we're getting into our triceps just a little bit more. For 3, 2, and 1. And then carefully coming up, rock yourself up. So now I'm doing heavier weight than normal for my bicep curls because I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing 1 arm at a time, and our non-working arm is going to be assisting our working arm. So normally I do like maybe 12 pounds for bicep curls, but I'm holding a 15. So grab a weight that you can't do normally a full set of, because what you're going to do is your non-working hand's going to help you a little bit. So you can be standing or sitting or high kneeling like I am. I'm working my left arm, but my right arm's going to kind of help out of it. My right arm's only going to help though, like maybe 10% of the work. I still want my left arm doing the majority of the work, or whatever it can kind of handle. So what I'm going to do is use my right arm to kind of help guide the dumbbell up. And then I'm going to try to just use my left arm bringing it down. So right arm's going to help bring it up on the concentric move. And then on the eccentric move, I'm straightening my arm. So that's when the muscle's lengthening and really like doing the most work, is I'm trying to resist taking my time. I'm not letting my arms drop. And when you get to the point where you can't do this nice and controlled, then you can use your right arm to even help kind of guide down. But again, you really want that left arm doing the most of the work here. This has helped me to get stronger and kind of increase my weight, because then all of a sudden you'll realize like, oh, I can actually curl this heavier weight for a few reps by myself, and then you build and build and build. Okay, we're just going to do one more on this side because we are going to do both arms in a second. So we don't want to totally burn out the arm. So now switching, same idea. Your assisting hand holding maybe 5, 10, 15% of the weight. And you could probably try. 10.15. I don't know what just happened. My Siri just started. You can maybe try a couple reps here without assistance. And that's when you're like, oh cool, I'm actually getting stronger. But again, as long as you can do good form, you start rocking your body, you start tucking your butt under or arching your back. Use the other hand to assist. And we've just got 3 more on this side. And 2. And last one. So now you can take either your less weight, like lower weight, or you can just grab the weight in both hands. And we're going to do upper half curls. So you're going to bring it up to your butt, like your normal bicep curl, come down halfway, and then lifting up. Down halfway, lifting up. Try not to pause too much in either direction. Using that breath. And if you're working out with a mirror, just check in on your spine, that you're still in that neutral position. Not starting to arch or tuck. For 3, 2, and 1. And carefully lower it down. Give your arms a little shake. We're going to do that entire series again. So if you found anything maybe particularly too easy, too hard, you can pause the video, find weights that maybe work a little bit better. So I'm going to get set up for those kickstand rows. Again, kind of making that like A shape or upside down V with my weights. If you're using a weight to hold on to, as I said, you can just have your arm, like your other hand straight on the mat. I just find that a lot on my wrist lately. And then I have my body kind of quarter turned here outwards. Again, not totally facing the mat, but not totally facing the side. And I'm thinking of my left shoulder blade drawing towards my spine as I row in and then lower and down. Again, you can have this kickstand position with your foot kind of on the mat, or you can have it bent here for a little bit, maybe more stability. Try not to rest that weight on the ground. Breathing. For 5, 4, and neck is nice and long. 3, 2, oh, my form is starting to slip. Last one, I'm really slowing down. When you really slow down, you know you're done. Okay, other side. Give yourself a second. Get your hair out of your eyes. Okay. So getting set up here again, good form, and then shoulder blade, bringing it towards the spine. Really think of your back muscles here doing the work. Obviously, shoulder, bicep are working, but try not to make it like a bicep like row or too much of like a shoulder row. For 5, I notice I'm not like swinging my torso around, it's staying still. 3, 2, and 1. Lower down with control. We're gonna do a little cobra because I forgot to do that first. So, get your weights out of the way. We're gonna come onto our tummies. I never know if I should say like tummies, stomach, bellies. Apparently some people don't like belly. So fingers at about nose level. You're pressing your hips and pubic bone into the mat. Prepare with an inhale. As you exhale, hover your head. Peel your chest away from the mat. Hover your arms. And then inhale to lower. Exhaling, lifting up. Core is tight. Inhale to lower. Think of drawing that belly button to spine. Nice tight core as if I was going to like punch you. Or if you've heard my dirty dancing analogy I've heard before, if Patrick Swayze was holding you up like in Dirty Dancing, you want that stomach nice and tight. That's kind of how you always want to feel when you're on the mat, on your stomach. For 3, 2, and 1. And then coming up. Yeah, sometimes I used to say like get on your bellies, but somebody one time, this was in a group class, thought that was like kind of like a fat comment or something, like bellies is a fat term. I was like, I don't mean that. I literally just mean like get on your stomach, but be very careful of what you say sometimes to people. Okay, we are doing our shoulder sideline press. So we're actually going to do the shoulders and tricep presses just on the same side this time, less back and forth. So you might want to have your 5-pound weight or your lower weight nearby as well as your medium weight. I'm going to come down onto my side here, but again, you can be up on your forearm if you like that. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. My forearm is a little bit forward and I'm reaching up towards the ceiling and then coming back down. Just bending and straightening at the elbow. My wrist is strong. And if you do have your head in your hands like this, think of that nice long neck. So you're not bending, down towards and looking at your toes. You're also not maybe looking upwards. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully put that weight down. Grab your tricep extension weight. I'm going to give you a second. Giving me a second. And then we have our same position here, but your elbows kind of pointed up towards the ceiling. And then bending and straightening at the elbow. But keeping that elbow, like I said, kind of pointed towards the ceiling. Palm facing forwards. You've got it. We've got 4, 3, 2, last 1, and then we'll switch to the other side. Starting with the shoulder press again, so getting that medium weight, getting set up. Okay, I never know about this microphone. There we go. Okay, forearm a little bit forward, palm facing forward, reaching up towards the ceiling, and then bending. So lengthening our arm. But as we do this, we're not thinking of like shrugging our shoulders up. They're in that kind of happy medium position. We're not pulling our shoulders down, but we're also not pulling them up towards our ears. We've got 5, 4, 3. Whew, my form is starting, gonna almost slip, so that's when you know it's the right weight. And last one, and the right amount of reps. Carefully lower that. If you're using the same weight, just keep using the same weight. I just know we're gonna do those tricep narrow presses next, so there we go. So again, palm face forward, pointing that elbow as best as you can towards the ceiling, obviously with our anatomy. Well, it depends kind of on your anatomy and your bone structure, how well you can point your elbow towards the ceiling while doing this. Oh, okay, I need a break. Whew, my shoulder's still feeling it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Lower down. So bring the weight with you for our narrow tricep presses. So always take your time getting down. You don't want to be like swinging around massive weights when you're lying back down. So this is the one where my dumbbells are kind of slightly angled. That's how I find it best to engage my triceps. So my pinkies, as I said, are kind of a little bit more towards the ceiling, and my thumbs are a little bit more towards my shoulders. And you're gonna straighten, and then you're bending as you come back down, but kind of in that angle. And you want to be thinking of the backs of the arms. I might actually need to. My arms are cooked. I'm actually going to go down to my lighter weight now, my 5 pounds. So you can see a little bit better on the 5-pound ones too, and just because they're a little less bulky. I'm kind of keeping like the head, like my thumbs come down kind of by my shoulders. For 3, 2, and 1. So I didn't need to if I didn't want to continue. I didn't have to grab my 5s. Like if you're ever in that position where you can't do any more, you can just call it a set and be done. I just wanted to go down to my 5s because I knew I could do some more, and I had my 5s right beside me. But yeah, once you know your muscles fatigued and you've hit your set, you can always kind of jump ahead in the video or just take a pause. Oh, our biceps are next. Because do think of this as your workout. That's what's great about videos, is you can pause it if maybe you want, if you could have kept going, maybe your weight wasn't heavy enough, you can always pause the video and do a couple more reps until you do get to that like muscle fatigue part. Or if you're done, if I'm like, oh, we have 4 more and you are just shaking and your form is crap, stop right there. That means, you know, you've done what you needed to do. So again, we're gonna start with our heavy weight for our bicep curls, and my assisting arm is just gonna help bring it up. Again, for maybe the first couple, I don't need my other arm to assist me, but this weight is heavy enough that I couldn't do a full set. And a set for hypertrophy is like minimum 8 reps. So if you can't even do 8 with good form, like that last one, my form wasn't great. So now I'm going to grab to assist. But if you ever feel like you could do 25 reps, that means your weight's probably not enough. I know 30 is for sure the maximum because they have done studies, and we just have 3 more here, that if you're doing more than 30 reps, you're just like, you're working on endurance at that point, but you're not, the muscles isn't getting like stretched to repair and rebuild stronger. And then that's your last one on that side. Switch to the other side again. Maybe try a couple if you can do good form in this heavier weight. Yep, see, and then once your form starts to slipper, it's kind of, you're slowing down. We don't want to do any with bad form, so it's better to either reduce your weight or call it a set or get the other arm to assist. And if you don't like this other arm assisting, you could reduce your weight so that you just do the one arm. But I like this because it's helping me to get stronger. I'm using a heavier weight than normal. For 3 here. 2. Last one. And then we have our upper half bicep curls and then just a stretch. So either grabbing this weight or you can grab 2 weights in your hands, whatever you like to do today. We're just going to do our upper half curls. So you're coming up and then coming halfway to where my elbows make a kind of 90-degree angle. And then just constantly up and down, trying not to pause. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then lowering down, and then we'll just do a little stretch here. So you can take your arms, press the opposite walls away, lengthening out your biceps, triceps. You can flip your palms behind you and thumbs face down. You can kind of press back. We'll do a tricep stretch so you can kind of pat yourself on the back in the middle. And then grabbing other arm. Think of stretching the back of your arm. And start taking your nice big deep breaths because that actually helps the muscle recovery and repair process by getting into your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your body it's time to recover. And then we'll cross one arm over here for our shoulder stretch. And then other side. And then you can just do some shoulder rolls. You could do some neck rolls, whatever feels good for you. And I hope you enjoyed this upper body series. I'm going to do a lower body series, I think, tomorrow. So then you can do them back-to-back days like I'm going to do. Or if you have time for a really long workout, you can pair them for a full body. And as always, let me know any questions, comments, concerns in the comments, or you can message me. And I'll see you next time.